Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Professor.
Good
How
morning,
is
Professor.
everything? How is everything good?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yes. Okay. Getting used to study in December?
It's just the same.
It's the same. Fortunately, it's the same. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so give me a second and let's wait for more people. Let's wait for more people to enter and then we will have the class. Okay, people. So we have to organize a couple of things today just for continue preparing what we have to work on this class. And I would like to start. I don't know if it is if it is if it is appropriate to start right now. How many people do we have? 4 people. 24. 24 people. Okay. So start thinking about something. We are going to do some presentations here, and more than a presentation, we are going to do a workshop. And in those workshops, you are going to design the workshops, and we are going to work on different skills. So we have to make groups. We have to form groups for working on those skills and for doing the workshops. And we are going to organize that information today because it is going to be next year. However, we need to fix everything from today. Okay, so start thinking about who you are going to work with. We are going to make groups of 4, maximum 4 people, maximum 4, no more than 4. I think that 4 are enough for working with this presentation. 3 to work, 3 to 4, 3 to 4. And I need 8 groups, but we are going to organize it in a moment. Okay, so today what we are going to focus on is we are going to start analyzing some things that we need in order to plan the lessons that we are going to develop in the micro teaching at the end of the semester. But we have to start understanding some other things that are very important and that are going to be connected to the previous analysis that we did, to the previous like a recognition of what language, of what let me check here, what language, what teaching and what learning is, right? So we have to start analyzing also what the Ministry of Education thinks about English language teaching here in Colombia. Okay, so I would like to ask you, what do you know about the bilingual plan that we have here in Colombia? What do you know about it, about the Colombia Bilingüe? What have you heard? What do you know? What do you know, Catalina? Giancarlo. Giancarlo is
Yes.
going to speak. Go ahead.
I think that the levels that they are expecting or that they expect are too high, or because I don't remember well the levels, but I've seen, like, for example, for 11th grade students, they expect them to be like at least B2, at least. Or, and that is way too high for schools in Colombia, as we all know, because education is just like, I don't know if I should say terrible, but we do know that the results are not that high, and we can say that probably for those who are like the best in English at a school, it would be an A something, A1, A2, not that much.
Or even an A0, because they have to create
Yeah,
an A0.
a minus.
Yes, due to the first results in the Prueba Saber, they had to create that level as well, the A minus or the A0, A0, right? So that's true. But what else do you know about the Colombian bilingual plan? What else? Apart from the expectation that they have for students in high school, that it is B2. What else do you know? Anything? What are like the plans? What are the intentions of the Ministry of Education apart from the level? The implications? Something?
No idea, to be honest.
No idea. Do you think that it is important to know, Juliana?
They also try to improve the skills like writing, speaking, listening, reading,
What do you mean we
and
try to, what do you mean we
they have
try to improve?
because they show when I read something about that, they describe activities to improve that skills. Sorry.
Okay. Any other? Do you know when did the Colombia bilingual plan start? Do you know? Do you know? No?
I think it's 2000 something, and it was renewed on 2012, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so people, as you are going to be English language teachers, we have to get some knowledge about this, about the situation of English language teaching in Colombia. It is not just assuming that we are going just to give a lot of information and that's it, right? So I'm going to show you a web page. Yes, Catalina, that's the year. I am going to show you a web page here. Let me check it, because that's a very interesting web page. I'm going to share the web page also on the chat, but I'm going to share it here. Let me check. So here, this is the link for this web page. Is from Universidad de Antioquia, and they do here a very brief like summary of what happened with the Colombian bilingual plan. And as you were saying, the Colombian bilingual plan started in 2004, and the projection was 2019. So meaning that last year, this Colombian bilingual plan expired. Okay, so we are waiting for the new regulations now. We are waiting for the new like objectives. However, they designed the first proposal for this, right? 2004, 2019. This is the first one. The second one, that is Programas para el Fortalecimiento de Lenguas Extranjeras. They started this plan in 2010 and they finished in 2014, right? So 5 years working with Fortalecimiento de Lenguas Extranjeras, but this plan was directed to help universities to get the level they required, and especially the bachelor programs, right? The bachelor programs, the programs like this one. They started analyzing what is happening and what had happened, and what were the regulations that these kind of programs need to have in order to have or to provide teachers with the level the Ministry of Education or the bilingual plan required. Okay, and at this time they decided to have the C1 for teachers, English language teachers, but they found that the reality was that many English language teachers have a B1, a B2, and very few had a C1 at that moment, right? For that reason, they started this program, the Fortalecimiento de Lenguas Extranjeras. In 2013, they released the law 1651 that has to do with ley de bilingüismo, and then they launched Programa Nacional de Inglés. And pay attention how they changed the terms. They say here bilingüismo, and now they say here inglés. Why? Because was like a controversy in these times, 2004 and 2019, with the term bilingualism. And as we understand bilingualism, we know that bilingualism has to do with the manage of two languages, at least, right? However, Programa Nacional de Bilingüismo was focused only on English. English as the language that has to do with the second language to learn, right? The reality of Colombia is very different. And in Colombia, there are many like people who have or who speak two languages already, right? Like the indigenous people. Indigenous people, they have the first language. Most of them, I'm not saying everyone, but most of them have the first language that it is the indigenous language, right? And Spanish as a second language. So it was very controversial because of that. And the other controversy about this bilingualism only oriented on English was because there are other languages in the world that you can learn and that you can be proficient or become proficient. But the Plan Nacional de Bilingüismo only allowed the English language as the second one. So that was very controversial, the term bilingualism. So that's why they decided to finish here or to propose this Programa Nacional de Inglés, because they are not saying that we are going to become bilingual just because we are going to learn English, but we are going to become English speakers, right? English speakers. It doesn't matter if we are already bilingual or not, yeah? Additionally, you have to think that, for example, deaf people, some of them, when they manage the sign language and they learn Spanish, they have a second language as well. Okay. Okay. Someone is going to speak. Michael, are you going to say something?
No, Professor, sorry.
What happened? I was trying to listen to your dog or to the dog outside because I don't know if it is your dog. Okay. So here we have the summary, as I told you, and the documents that are like have these plans. And as we can see here, 2004-2019, Plan Nacional de Bilingüismo, the objective of the program was lograr ciudadanos y ciudadanas capaces de comunicarse en inglés. Y acá venía otra vez acá venía la controversia que les decía, bilingüismo solamente orientado al inglés. De tal forma que puedan insertar al país en los procesos de comunicación universal, en la economía global y en la apertura cultural con estándares internacionalmente comparables. So what we can see here also is that the main intention of learning English is just an economical purpose, right? So this neoliberal thought that was inserted in this lesson, in these ideas of having a second language was spread about the world. And now we can say that many people think that learning English is a synonym of progress, economical progress, or even cultural enhancement, right? We can see that because those are neoliberal thoughts. And it says that metas grado 11, B1 at that time, B1, no B2, B1 al 2019, right? So you can check this paper that it is the Inglés el Reto, Bases para una Nación Bilingüe y Competitiva, o Estándares Básicos de Competencia de Lenguas Extranjeras Inglés. So this is one, those are the two documents that they released those years in order to like establish what was going to happen. And we can see here something that is very interesting. Estándares básicos. Estándares. So when you listen to a standard, what do you understand? What does it mean? What does the word standard mean for you? Nothing?
Average?
Average?
Yeah, like the requirements to be there. Like, yeah.
It's not here anymore. Right? Like an standard, remember that the standard is a measure, una medida, a measure, a way of measuring people, right? So you have to hide or you have to get all the things or all the, in this case, the proficiency in order to reach the standard, right? So you have to be evaluated. You are going to be evaluated not because of you, because you know things are about something, but because you are proficiency about something. So you are going to reach the standard, right? So that's more or less the idea of the standard. With this standard, we many schools work for many years, and then they started developing here a plan, this plan de fortalecimiento de lenguas extranjeras. The objective was desarrollar competencias comunicativas en inglés en educadores y estudiantes del sistema educativo. But you pay attention here, as I told you, the focus was on teacher educators as well. Okay, teacher educators, because they realized that teachers were not proficient. En estudiantes del sistema educativo para fortalecer la inserción del capital humano a la economía del conocimiento, educadores y estudiantes del sistema educativo. So, aquí fue donde se empezó a trabajar sobre las universidades y los programas de inglés. ¿Okay? En el 2014 se requería que el 40% tuviera por lo menos un B1. El 40% de los profesores de Colombia. En este plan de desarrollo, muchas personas fueron a inmersiones, muchos profesores del Estado fueron llevados a inmersiones como parte del plan de desarrollo de su competencia. So it is supposed that they have to learn and to explore and to be more proficient. Okay. However, I don't know what happened with that thing. Okay. Muchas personas lo tomaron solo como paseo porque se los llevaban a Estados Unidos o a otros países o incluso a otras ciudades de campamentos, inmersiones, y era más un paseo que una inversión. Okay, right. So we have here these documents that are like the fundamentals for this one. After that, in 2013, the law 1651 modified these documents or these regulations of the law 115, la ley 115 de 1994. Recuerden que esta ley 115 de 1994 es la ley que regula la educación en Colombia. Todavía está vigente y todavía deberíamos conocerla. Deberíamos saber qué dice la ley 115. Sin embargo, aquí se modifican algunos acuerdos o algunos artículos que tienen que ver con la educación bilingüe en Colombia. ¿Qué se entiende por bilingüismo o qué se entiende por, o cuál sería el idioma para ser enseñado? La ley 115 tenía ciertas restricciones. Okay? That's it. Okay. After that, they created Colombia Very Well as part of the Programa Nacional de Inglés, Colombia Very Well. And Colombia Very Well has the intention of providing like the resources and the, like, let's see, materials for teachers to work at schools, right? For them to work at schools. So it says here in the objective, contribuir a alcanzar la meta de convertir a Colombia en el país más educado de Latinoamérica y el país con mejor nivel de inglés en Sudamérica en 2025. So we can see here that we have 5 years to become the most educated and the best in English in South America, at least. Okay, at least. Right. De pronto no es tan difícil, pero hay otros países que están también haciendo lo suyo, como Uruguay. Uruguay, Paraguay, Argentina. Right? Okay, so right here we have the Colombia Programa Nacional de Inglés 2015-2014. If you want to check it, you can explore what their intentions were. And here, Colombia very well, podrán hablar inglés los colombianos. That is un comunicado de la presidencia. Okay, so this was very, very ambiguous, very confusing for many people. Many people didn't understand even that there were, or they didn't know that there was a Colombia very well plan as part of Plan Nacional de Bilingüismo. I don't know if you know about it, but it exists still. However, they are not working as they were expected. So they decided then to change it to this part. Colombia Bilingüe 2014-2018, that it is part of another provision, another way of seeing Plan Nacional de Bilingüismo. This is more ambitious because it goes 2015 or 2025, sorry. But this one provides more regulations than the previous one. More regulations. So this Colombia Bilingüe Plan, 2014-2018, the intention of this is contribuir a que los estudiantes del sistema educativo se comuniquen mejor en inglés. El dominio de este idioma les permitirá a los estudiantes y docentes colombianos tener acceso a becas en otros países, mayor movilidad y mejores oportunidades laborales inclusivas en Colombia. And from this plan, the Ministry of Education devoted a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort designing different documents that are still in use. And we have to get to know this kind of documents just to understand what the intentions or what the projections of the Ministry of Education are in terms of language teaching and language learning. So one of them are the basic learning rights, right? This is a short document that explains what the goals of each one of the courses of each one of the levels are. And pay attention here, this is kind of the same that the standards, but they changed it into the word rights. Ya los estándares dejaron de ser una medida, o sea, es decir, ya dejaron de utilizar la palabra estándares como una forma de medición y empezaron a utilizar la palabra derechos como una forma de, digámoslo así, como regulación. Casi que son lo mismo, y si ustedes se fijan, van a ser casi los mismos, los estándares y los derechos básicos de aprendizaje, pero la palabra derecho tiene una implicación más legal, y es que todos los niños tienen derecho a alcanzar eso. En el estándar, lo que teníamos era que el estándar era una medida y los niños tenían que alcanzar allá. No era un derecho, sino una obligación. Y acá el discurso se cambia, se varía hacia el derecho, proveyendo pues algunas otras implicaciones incluso para los profesores. Los profesores como actores de derecho en este caso tienen que ser o son los responsables de que este derecho se cumpla. ¿Ok? Ustedes como profesores de inglés son los responsables a que este derecho se cumpla en cada uno de los niños a su cargo. Niños y niñas a su cargo. Entonces la implicación legal es un poco más fuerte. No quiero decir que pues, los puedan demandar o alguna cosa de estas, pero digamos que en términos discursivos, derecho is stronger than standard, right? So they released the two booklets of Derechos Básicos de Aprendizaje of the Basic Learning Rights. The first one was for primary, transition to primary, and the second one was from this one, secondary school. Okay, so give me a second, please. Okay, anyhow, right. So these are the two booklets that we can have, that we can analyze also in terms of the learning, the basic learning rights. But the basic learning rights are just like the regulations and just like the, not the regulations, sorry, are they like the standards that they have to fulfill. So the government also, the Ministry of Education, released this one, Currículo Sugerido en Inglés, Suggested English Curriculum. That is a document in which there are many explanations about what to do, how to do it, how to put into practice these learning rights, how to put it into practice. And they also suggest many things and aspects that we are going to analyze in a moment, related to, or yes, related, focus on the concepts of curriculum, the concept of education, the concept of bilingualism, etc. So this curriculum, suggested English curriculum, it's very important, a very important document. So that's why we are going to analyze it. And also they have this one, guías para la implementación del currículo sugerido. Okay. Aunque aquí la palabra suggested implied that it is just a suggestion, so you have to decide if you are going to do it or not, you are going to apply it or not. The implication is that if you belong to the public sector, you must do it. Okay, so the suggested is just like a name. However, from my perspective, it is still too ambitious, taking into account the context in which we are going to work, or the context of the schools. So anyhow, that's the suggestion. And these are the guides for the implementation of the suggested curriculum. So we can find the documents in this part, right? And also, they have this one. Para que todo quede más claro, orientaciones y principios pedagógicos, pedagogical principles and guidelines. So everything must be very clear for every single English language teacher. So pay attention that how many documents do we have just to read for learning one course. We have basic learning rights, suggested curriculum, the guides for implementation of the suggested curriculum, and now we have the orientations and principles, pedagogical principles and guidelines for the suggested curriculum. So the Ministry of Education gives you English language teachers all these documents, but many people don't know about this, okay? And it is important you to get to know these regulations and those documents. And also, as part of this bilingual plan, at this implementation of the suggested curriculum and everything, and the learning, basic learning rights, they released the English textbooks. Maybe you know that we have available some textbooks on internet. The first one, or the first series, is called Way to Go, and the second series is English Please, right? English Please and Way to Go, right? Those are the two books, or the two series that the Ministry of Education released. Today, we are going to focus on one of the documents from the Ministry of Education. We are not going to start with the basic learning rights. We are going to start with another one. So you can go here to the virtual classroom, to this classroom, to Google Classroom, and we are going to start this unit, lesson planning. This is the unit that we are going to start. We have already finished this one, okay? So we are going to start lesson planning, and in lesson planning we have some material. The material, this thing is crazy. It's in here. Sorry. The material are the documents that I told you. The suggested curriculum, the pedagogical principles, the basic learning rights document, okay? So we are going to start with this, pedagogical principles and guidelines. Pedagogical principles, and we are going to see what is the Ministry of Education suggesting about the principles of education, as this class is English language, principles in language teaching and learning, right? So we are going to read, please, in groups, and we are going to discuss the first part in here, that is fundamentals of the curriculum 3.1, concepts of curriculum. So we have to read this first conception of what curriculum is. It is only a couple of pages, only 3.1. So this is the end, right? This is the end. And this is the first task, to read the concept of curriculum. Pay attention to something. If it is complicated for you to understand this paper on internet, even on this page here, you have the Spanish version as well, okay? The Ministry of Education released the documents in Spanish and English, right? This is, no, we are reading Guía para la implementación. So this is the English version, and this is the Spanish version, okay? English version and Spanish version. So we are going to make groups. Is it clear what you have to do? You are going just to discuss, to read and discuss about the concept of curriculum. Try to understand what the curriculum is, what is the vision of curriculum from the Ministry of Education 3.1 only, 3.1. Is it clear?
Yes, Professor.
Sure. Okay, so we have, right. I want to ask you something. I'm going to organize the groups as you like it, 3 or 4 people. Okay, but you have to tell me who you are going to work with and assign you. This group is going to be the same group that's going to work on the presentation. Okay, so be very wise in choosing who you are going to work with. So Jesus Daniel. Wait, Antico. It is better you to open because I cannot see everything at the same time. Jesus, I have Jesus Daniel, Grecia. Who else?
Yes, Laura Baracaldo
Baracaldo.
and Luisa Otaya.
Wait, Antico. Esto no
Okay.
es tan. ¿Luisa qué?
Otaya.
Hernández Otaya, profe.
Hernández. Luisa Fernanda Hernández. You 4, right?
Luisa Fernanda
Yes,
Otaya.
Professor.
Hernández Otaya.
Fernanda Otaya, sí.
Okay. Right, the second group, I cannot see.
Profesor Andrés Camilo Martínez Silva.
Wait a tico. Very good. Who else?
Daniela Castro Ruiz.
Daniela Castro Ruiz. Who else?
And Laura Sofía Cuellar Monroy.
Ready. That's group number 2. Group number 3.
Catalina Córdoba,
Catalina Córdoba,
Clara Herrera,
Clara, Victoria,
María Camila Díaz.
María Camila Díaz. Ready. Good. Group number 4. I'm waiting. Okay, so I'm going to send you guys
Cristian
at
Arenas,
least the
profe.
3 groups.
Y yo.
Cristian Arenas and Giancarlo. Look for another one.
Ah, pues no sé quién sobra. ¿Quién quiere meterse?
Uy, ¿cómo así que quién?
No sé quién más.
Yo.
Sorry, me equivoqué.
Kevin Roda dijo yo, profe.
Kevin Roa. Okay, so... Okay. Cristian Arenas, Kevin Roa, Giancarlo, y Kevin. Okay. Okay, right? Who else? Another group. Guys. Hello? Jose, can you listen? Juliana, Carla, Liz.
Professor, now we have our group.
And who you are? Who are you, sorry?
Jose Quiroga, Daisy Ramos, and Liz Stephanie Cumbe.
Ready. Daisy. Okay. And what about you? Erika, Diana, Daira, Carla, Michael, Natalia, Jason.
Professor, we are organizing our group.
Okay.
Hello, Professor. Are you there?
Hello.
Professor, our group is Michael, Steven Olarte, Diana, I don't know the name.
Diana Rivera.
Name. Yeah, that is. And Jason Rojas. It must be 4 people or...
Could be 3 or 4.
Okay, that's my group.
Daira, are you there? Erika, Juliana, Carla, Natalia. Are you there? And what are you gonna do? Hello? Okay, going to assign you to Jason's group. Erika, Juliana, Carla, Natalia.
Profe, Juliana, Erika, Carla y yo somos un grupo.
¿Y por qué no habían dicho nada?
Porque estamos haciendo, profe, perdón.
Ready.
Se fue.
Ay, Dios mío, amiga.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what did you find in this part of the paper where it's called where it's explaining the concept of curriculum? What caught your attention? Couple of comments.
But we understood that curriculum is like to organize the theory, scope, and the like the standards in order to achieve um, a goal. No.
Okay. Okay, so there is a question. Thank you, Michael. So we are going to discuss about this in a moment. Laura Natalia, what is your question?
Hi, Professor. Professor, I didn't understand, or well, in my group, we didn't understand well what scope and sequence means.
A scope and sequence?
Yes, Professor.
The scope is the organization of something. It's for example, if you look at a book and you look like the indice or the organization of the book, most of the books of English books, they have a scope and sequence because the scope is hasta dónde van a llegar and the sequence is how you are going to get that point, okay? So that's the scope and sequence. So when you are designing a curriculum, you have to pay attention to where is my final goal? What is my scope? Hasta dónde llegaremos, right? And then you have to sequencing that, I don't know, the topics, the vocabulary, the grammar, everything. And they start like distributing that information in order to get that scope that they are proposing. That's the scope and sequence.
So we can we say that the scope are like objectives to be reached?
No, not necessarily. No, because the scope and sequence is just like the distribution. And the objectives are based on what is happening in the sequence. Yeah, is it clear? Let me show you. Is it clear or not?
No, Professor, I didn't understand.
Let me show you here. Damn it, they are not here anymore. Let's see this book. So this is one of the books of the Ministry of Education, right? This is for 6th grade. And say, these are the contents, okay, like the contents of the modules, of the different modules. The basic rights, and okay. And let's say that this one, okay, this part, this is not a very good example. This is not a very good example, but anyhow, this part is going to contain, or it's considering a scope. No necesariamente es un objetivo de aprendizaje, sino es un término hasta donde se puede llegar, o lo que debe contener, es como el scope, ¿ok? Y lo secuencian de tal manera que se pueda llegar a cumplir todo el scope que se propone, ¿ok? So, la secuencia, por ejemplo, se puede ver en las unidades, unidad por unidad, en estos libros, ¿sí? Estas son las secuencias, que son secuencias de unidad de los módulos. Ellos dividen 4 módulos y cada módulo se divide en unidad. Esa es la secuenciación, y cuando se logra el final del módulo, el final, entonces ya se tiene la secuencia completa o las secuencias completas programadas, y ahí se ha alcanzado el scope. ¿Okay? El scope de este módulo o de esta, digamos, del libro completo o del curso completo. Lo que uno hace con el scope es decir, bueno, por ejemplo, cuando ustedes planean un currículo, ustedes dicen, voy a dividirlo en 3 unidades. Cada unidad va a llegar hasta cierta parte, ¿sí? Y a partir de eso, ese es su scope. Y ahí lo empiezan a secuenciar. Es más o menos lo que hice yo con eso se puede hacer en cualquier clase. Con el programa, con el syllabus que uno tiene acá. Entonces, si yo tengo el syllabus y en el currículum se establece ciertos aspectos, yo digo, entonces mi scope va a ser que ustedes logren hacer actividades orientadas a la enseñanza del inglés, y a partir de esa orientación o de ese scope grande, empiezo a hacer scopes más pequeños para poder hacer una secuencia. ¿Ok? Entonces el primer scope que yo tengo acá era entender los Principles of Language Teaching and Learning. El segundo scope, la segunda secuencia, la segunda parte de la secuencia será la parte de Lesson Planning. Y la tercera tiene que ver con la enseñanza per se de las habilidades. Right? So, así uno secuencia y uno tiene o alcanza el scope propuesto, pero no necesariamente se refiere a los objetivos. No necesariamente.
Profesor, esto entonces sencillamente el scope son como los temas que se decide que se van a tratar, por así decirlo. Por ejemplo, que, no sé, en grado sexto se tengan 5 temas y entonces en cada tema yo elijo qué se puede ver o qué se va a ver y qué no. Y la secuencia pues sería como, pues, cómo uno decide organizarlo, ¿sí? Cómo uno avanza del anterior hacia el siguiente. O sea, en términos más sencillos sería, pues se puede explicar de esa manera, ¿sí?
Sí,
pues no
pero
sé.
de todas maneras no necesariamente tiene que ver solo con los temas, tiene que ver con todo, porque el currículo abarca todo, ¿sí? O sea, los temas son un aspecto nomás del diseño curricular.
O sea, entonces, o sea, no tendría que separarse entonces, digamos, por así decirlo, el scope de la sequence. O sea, para no hablar solo de los temas, siempre,
No.
o sea, tendrían que ir juntos. O como...
No, es que el scope es el alcance de su curso. ¿Hasta dónde va a llegar su curso? ¿Sí? Entonces, por ejemplo, cuando usted, señora.
Serían como los objetivos no alcanzar, sino ya alcanzados.
No piensen en términos de objetivos. Hay una cosa son los objetivos y otra cosa es el alcance. ¿Sí?
Algo así como la meta.
La meta, pero no en términos de objetivos. ¿Cuál es el alcance? ¿Hasta dónde puedo llegar? ¿Sí? Entonces, por ejemplo, imaginémonos un curso de Academic Writing. ¿Sí? Un curso de Academic Writing tiene ciertos objetivos. Y los objetivos se establecen para poder verificar que los estudiantes hayan logrado las competencias o hayan alcanzado los conocimientos, whatever. Sin embargo, el scope tiene que ver, por ejemplo, con hasta dónde quiero yo que mis estudiantes se involucren con el tema de academic writing, hasta dónde, cuál será el alcance de mi clase, ¿sí? Por ejemplo, quiero yo que mis estudiantes hagan ensayos académicos complejos, o quiero yo que mis estudiantes comprendan las reglas básicas de lo que implica la escritura académica, o quiero yo que mis estudiantes hagan una disertación, ¿sí? Ese es el scope, y no es el scope el mismo para todo el mundo. Por ejemplo, ustedes que están en pregrado tienen un scope para ese academic writing, pero una persona que está en maestría, el scope es más amplio, porque se va más allá de los textos simples como los ensayos, ¿sí? Y no tiene nada que ver con los objetivos, ¿sí ven? O sea, sí se relaciona con los objetivos, pero no son los mismos objetivos. ¿Sí me entienden qué es el scope?
Sí, profe.
Por ejemplo, entonces, pensemos en un colegio privado y un colegio público. Grado sexto. ¿Creen ustedes que es el mismo scope para un colegio privado que un colegio público?
No, profe, porque los contextos cambian, son diferentes.
Los contextos cambian, la intensidad horaria cambia, las intenciones las intenciones del colegio y las proyecciones del colegio, porque eso era lo que veíamos en el currículo, ¿cierto? En la parte, en el currículo aquí, perdón, acá. Que es que no solamente influyen un aspecto, sino influyen más aspectos. There are more of one aspect related here. And it is basically what we have here in this picture, that we have schools, local education authorities, students, and parents. And with these factors, or with these elements, or with these people, they have to decide what the scope is, right? As you have seen that the scope is not the same for public and private schools, it is neither the same for a rural school and a urban school, right? Even if they are public in the public sector, right? It is not the same. So the scope starts changing because you cannot cover as much as you would like if you don't have the time, if you don't have the resources, right? If you don't have many other things. Yeah, so the scope depends also on the contextual situation, That's the scope, right? Is it okay? Do you understand?
Yes, professor.
And from that scope, you establish the scope, and from that scope, you start dividing what you are going to do. That means sequencing. So you have the sequence, the scope, like a whole, and the sequence to get that scope, okay, or to cover that scope. From that sequence, then you design the objectives, right? From the sequence, from each part of the sequence, you design the objectives, yeah? And from the objectives, with the sequence, you start designing the activities, right? Or you have to design the lessons, yeah? That's very clear from this perspective. Here in this graphic of the curriculum, processes curriculum design, we have many aspects, not only the people who intervene, but also here the topics, right? Do you understand that these topics are the ones proposed by the Minister of Education, right? These are the 4 ones: globalization, sustainability, health, and democracy and peace. Those are the 4 different topics. And then they decided also to suggest some competences: general competences and knowledge, intercultural competences, and communicative competences. And they wanted to integrate abilities for life and values. What does it say to you, according to the proposal the Ministry of Education is providing? What could you discuss about this? Hello? Terrible silence. Okay, people. So pay attention. Teaching English, according to the Ministry of Education, is not just to teach skills. It's not just to teach vocabulary, and it is not just to teach grammar. Teaching English, according to this vision of curriculum, implies different competencies, and the communicative competences is only the third part of the general competences of the whole competency cycle that they propose. Communicative competences, intercultural competences, and general competences for knowledge. So one of the things that you have to get rid of is that teaching English is just to transmit knowledge about the language, right? Remember that we analyzed that in the previous sections, the vision of language. And now they also require for you or from you that you include abilities for life and values. So it's even more complex. It is not just to teach specific structures, specific vocabulary, but you have to provide your students a way for them to learn values and abilities for life, right? Is it easy?
No.
It is not. Is it what you thought? I mean, this picture or this graphic or this illustration of curriculum is in agreement with what you thought previously about teaching English? I will say that for some of you, it is, because I remember that in the writing, in the final writing that you deliver for the visions of language and teaching, you wrote something like that, including abilities for life and values. It is not just teaching a language as such, right? So in here, we also saw the components of this curriculum, right? We have these components, as you could read. Now we have the scope and sequence, the program of study, the content scheme, the standards, the textbooks, the learning path, and the planned experiences. This is a proposal from the Ministry of Education. But it is important also when you have a class or when you are going to design a lesson to start understanding these kind of things, that they are in the curriculum. If you go to a school, for example, if you go to work to a school, you need to know what is the scope and sequence the school proposed, because that is part of this macro curriculum, right? What is the main idea that the school have? And then the meso curriculum is this scope and sequence. What is the sequence they have prepared for the whole year, for the whole school, from primary or from high school, and how they have sequencing. And then the micro or the micro curriculum is what is going to happen in your class, right? So the micro curriculum is what it's going to happen in your class, only one class. The meso curriculum is what is going to happen in the whole school. And the macro curriculum is what is going to happen in the whole educational system of Colombia, the whole proposal, right? Yeah, is it clear? So we have 3 levels of curriculum here that we have to pay attention. So when you enter to a school, you need to understand the macro curriculum. El macro currículo se establece a partir de los documentos que les dije hace un momento, de los que estamos leyendo incluso, se establece el macro currículo. El meso lo establece el colegio. El meso lo establece el área. Y el micro lo establece el profesor a cargo de la clase. Right? So those are the levels, but you have to understand the first to have or to reach the last one, all right? So any question about this curriculum, proposed curriculum?
Not so far.
Not so far, everything is clear. So what is our first purpose or objective or need in this case? To understand the macro, okay? With these documents, we try to understand the macro. Okay, this is the concept of curriculum that we have here. And I don't know if there is any other question. And this is one of the principles proposed by the curriculum. And the principles are established also in the 3 different levels, macro, meso, and micro. Macro from the school, from the whole school, pay, regional relations with local, regional, and national context. So the pay, that it is the document that the institution is writing in order to regulate what is going to happen in their schools, is the macro. The meso is in charge of the area, right? So those are the relationships with the older areas. So how is going to be like the point of convergence? What are going to be the point of convergence? And the micro, that it is established by the teacher in charge of that section, or the group of teachers who are going to be in charge of that specific course, right? And they establish here pedagogical practice, assessment, and classroom interaction. So they have to design many things. So far, we can see that the idea of curriculum is not simple. It's very elaborated and very complex, to the extent that you have to analyze many factors in order to design this curriculum. El tema del currículo lo van a tratar un poco más el próximo semestre, pero es necesario que tengamos una idea de qué es currículo a partir del Ministerio de Educación. Okay? So here we have this part of curricular focus adopted. And they say that they have this says in the last century, there are 3 paradigms that we already analyzed some of them: the behavioral, the cognitive, and the contextual or ecological. That we can say that this contextual or ecological could be related to the constructivism or social constructivism, that was one of the paradigms or a school of thought that we analyzed in previous classes. The curriculum of this proposal respond to a contextual or ecological position, contextual or ecological, in which the relation of factors and the surroundings are mutually configured during the interaction. So pay attention that they have here something that they call, that it is important for this kind of curriculum, and it is interaction, right? So the context is going to be the base of the learning, but the context doesn't exist if there is not interaction. So if there is interaction, the learning is going to happen, right? So promoting interaction is one of the keys proposed by this vision of curriculum, by this perspective of curriculum. It says here, the reality is understood as something that is dynamic and in constant change. The underlying idea of this model is that learning is achieved and socially dependent, meaning through the interaction promoted and from individual experiences. A curriculum derived from this model is inclusive and open, privileged, horizontal, and equal socialization in the classroom and in life outside the classroom. So the proposal is interesting, and it is very, let's say, challenging for many students or for many teachers, just because we have here this idea of a open curriculum, a curriculum that promotes the social justice, and a curriculum that promotes the privileged horizontal relationships, right? But it is totally opposite to what we see in the classroom, or that it is opposite from that we could perceive from the ideologies that the students from the BA have. Because this horizontality doesn't exist in some of the students. They think that everything is vertical, right? So you are the person in charge and you are on the top, and the students are going to be below, right? But this idea of the curriculum changes everything. So the teacher is here and the students are going to be here as well, right? So for that reason, they call, or they quote Freire, Grandi, and Chemis, who propose exactly this part of the curriculum, this side of vision, of this vision of the language in which the social justice is promoted. The equality or the egalitarian aspect is promoted in the classroom. And also that in which the common life or the context is going to be participant, active participant, but it is the real context. It is not a fake context, okay? So with this vision, we are not going to start like thinking that we are going to have our teachers, our students having role plays, simulating that they are in the States asking for something, because it is not real for our students, right? Or at least not for students that who are in public schools. So this vision or this focus adopted by the curriculum, it's going to be a key for the planning of the activities. So pay attention to this. The first key, if we want to plan activities from a micro level, we have to pay attention to what the meso and the macro level is saying. And the meso and the macro level in this part of the curriculum is saying that one of the fundamentals of the curriculum is to be focused on social equality, diversity, there are the focus here, fundamental curricular themes, transversality, social curricular focus, diversity, and equity, right? So all of those themes or focuses are going to be, or needs to be present in the curriculum and in the planning, okay? They need to be present in the planning. Okay. And here we have this explanation of these curricular themes, how the Ministry of Education is going to understand these curricular themes. From the transversality, environmental sustainability, sexual health and education, construction of citizenship, democracy and peace, globalization, and those are the pieces that we have to analyze, okay? So for the next class, please, individually, you are going to read these curricular themes. If you have questions, please bring it to the class. We are going to just to ask the questions and have the questions. And we are going to read as well the socio-cultural focus in teaching learning processes. Okay, so that's the part that we have to read on until the point 3.4. Hasta aquí. ¿Quién me hizo una raya? ¿Quién me hizo rayas? Hasta esta parte, el 3.3. Leerlo todo. ¿Ok? 3.3 y... Sí, alcanzamos a leer el 3.4. 3.3 y 3.4 para finalizar con este texto del Suggested Curriculum. ¿Ok? Y poder entender el macro level del que estamos hablando. ¿Qué es lo que sugiere el Ministerio de Educación? El meso y el micro se establecen a partir de las instituciones, pero enfoquémonos en el macro level por ahora. Okay? So that's the point. Now I'm going to ask you something. As I told you, give me a second. We have 7 groups, very good. So I am going to share a link with you. And please enter to this link each group, okay? You are going to chat with your group, and each group is going to choose one of the topics that you are going to have there. You are going to have only one. Please discuss. Entre más rápido discutan, más rápido pueden escoger. Right? So the topics are these ones. Escriben sus nombres acá o escriban el número del grupo. En el link escriben su número de grupo y escogen. Grupo 1, grupo 2, grupo 3, grupo 4, grupo 5. Y escogen. 3.3 y 3.4. Sí, Laura Natalia. 3.3 y 3.4. We have speaking, reading, writing, listening, grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary. There is one per group. So if you choose quickly, Group 1 has selected vocabulary. So you cannot select vocabulary, guys. Group 1 has already selected. Okay, group 3 speaking, group 2 listening. Quickly. Let me check because I have to refresh every time. Erica's group, what is Erica's group? What number is Erica's group? I am confused. My goodness.
Professor, I think you have to refresh.
Yeah, wait, Antico. I am looking for Erica's group. Number 7. My goodness. Group number 10.
That's me, Professor. I didn't remember my group's number, so I put just 10.
Yeah,
We're group number 4.
There is not any group number 10.
That's group 10, group 4, sorry. I didn't remember the number, so I just put a high number.
La emoción, profesor.
La emoción. El despiste, más bien. Me aterra ese despiste. Ay. Ay. Me tocó devolverme. Okay, so we have group number 1, 2, 3, 4. And there are 2 topics, writing and pronunciation. Ay. So give me a second. Group number 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Group number 5. Who is group number 5? Lo que quede. Daisy, José, y Liz Stephanie. Okay, so and taking into account this, group number 1, Grecia, Guzmán, Jesus, Daniel, and Luisa, you are going to be in charge of teaching how to teach vocabulary. Andres, Camilo, and Laura Sofia, and I think that another person is going to be in charge of working with listening. Catalina, Córdoba, Clara, Victoria, Maria Camila, you are going to be in charge of working with speaking. Christian Arenas, Giancarlo, and Kevin, you are going to work with grammar. Daisy, Cristina, Jose Quiroga, Liz Stephanie Cumbe, so you are going to be with writing. Daira Alexandra Muñoz, Diana Rivera, Michael Olarte, Jason Rojas. You are going to have pronunciation.
Professor,
Yes.
we thought that we are the group number 2.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ustedes hacen que uno pierda la fe en los estudiantes. No es chiste, la verdad. Entonces yo lo asigno. ¿Listo? Ya no pueden escoger. Yo asigno los temas. Terrible. O sea, no prestan atención. No prestan atención a las instrucciones. No prestan atención ni dónde están. Eso es terrible. Y ustedes son los profesores. Parece muy mal. Bueno. So, thank you very much. See you. Glad this